In this demonstration video, I'm going to show you how to prepare paper for a collage using a posterized image. Okay, I have a picture right here that I've already sort of prepared. This is a picture of my nephew, so I thought I'd make a bigger collage using this image. Okay. So this is what the picture looked like after posterization, and this is what I drew. Your picture, which it might be the same, around the same size as this one, when you make it into a collage, it's going to be at least 2 times the size of that picture, at least. Okay, mine is actually 3 times the size because I wanted it to be fairly large. Because if I did this 2 times the size, it would be around the size of this paper right here, and I just thought that was too small. So let me grab my other picture that I did already in a demonstration video that I've already posterized, and I'll show you what you can do next to get it ready to draw with. So here's my picture of Brad Pitt. Okay, you can tell already that some of the values have been simplified. And there are about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different values on this picture, and that does not include the white background. Your pictures will have at least four different values. Okay, so what you'll need to do this to prepare your picture is you'll need a pencil. I'm doing mine in marker so you can see it better. You might need to end up using like a dark marker as well, just to make everything easier if you can't see very well. Okay, so what I'll do first is I'm going to look at my picture and I'm going to try to find all the areas with the lightest value, and this does not include the white background. Okay, so right here, his forehead is probably one of the areas with the lightest value. So you have lots of little itty bitty like pixels, and that's kind of like your the texture of his skin. We are not really concerned about that. You just want to make it into a simple shape. So what I did in my other picture is I kind of outlined the most important parts. And it's okay if it's not perfect. You just want to get most of the area outlined. Okay, and I'm going to label this as 1. Okay, the reason why I did that is just so I don't get confused later on when I'm doing my collage, and I don't want to get confused about what's the lightest value and what's the darkest. So I'm going to go around and I'm going to find all the other light values and outline them as well and label them. Some pictures are really blown out, and that kind of means like there's a lot of like maybe they used like a flash when they did this picture, and sometimes that makes it like around the same value for everything, and then sometimes that doesn't look very good. Okay, and I'm not really going to look at his eyes because his eyes are probably going to be one of the hardest spots, and I'll get to that later. Okay, so I pretty much covered all the areas that have the lightest value. Now I want to go to the next lightest. Okay, so which would be just kind of around those highlights. And it looks like this one might be one big shape. We'll see. And I'm going to label that as number 2 because it's the next lightest value. Some of them might be kind of funky shapes, but that's okay. Sometimes it's easier just to forget about other areas because they're not as important. Okay, and then we're going to go to the next lightest value, or like our mid-tone. We pretty much outlined his whole face. Oops, I forgot his ear right here. Oh well. You might label these in multiple areas so you know what they belong to. Okay, and then one of our darkest values. So not the darkest, but one that's close to it. And it's okay if you mess up on your picture. Just know whenever you start drawing on your other paper, your collage paper, just know what you're putting down. So maybe like if you just circle something wrong, go in with another color marker and outline what should be there. Oh, I forgot his eyebrows, or his sort of eyebrow spots. Oh, and on 3 I forgot his lips. They're kind of like a weird little line. Okay, now we're going to do our darkest value, and there's really not that much. It's kind of just his hair, and I don't even think you can see that marker. Nope. It's kind of just his hair and these like little shadows of where his shirt collar was, and then like his nostrils really. Oh, that's a 5. Okay, the hardest thing on here on your picture of your portrait is going to be your eyes. Those are kind of tricky. I would just draw these like a normal eyeball, and then I would simplify it to just a few values. So you have like the white of your eyes, and you have your pupil and your iris. I would just choose 3 different values for that. So for my pupil, sorry, I'm gonna make that a 5. For my iris, I'll probably do, that looks like a 3, so I'll do a 3 in my iris. And then in my white of my eyes, I'm going to do that as a 1. Okay. Now when I look at my picture, it looks like some kind of like a topographical drawing, like those topographical maps kind of show you how high certain areas go. So like if you're looking at a mountain, what the highest peak is. This is what it reminds me of. Okay, although it's not really like that. After you have this all figured out, basically you're going to draw a grid over everything. And I'm not going to go and take the time to draw a grid, but I'm going to do like a little rectangle so I know the area of the picture. I'm just going to line this up with the edge of my paper. and everything inside this rectangle is going to be my collage. Okay. And then I'll show you with my other one. I'll show you up close what I did. So I kind of outlined the lights and darks in his picture, but I didn't do it all the way because I kind of knew what I was going to do. But after I did that, I drew a grid. Okay, you can't really see it in the black, but you can see it on his face. That grid is just going to help me figure out where to draw these different lines and shapes. So on my project paper right here, I drew the grid, and it's 3 times the size. And then I just went in and I drew the same lines or the shapes in the squares. Okay, it's okay if it's not perfect. As long as you kind of have an idea of where things are going, you'll be in good shape. Okay, his picture is kind of funky because he's got a black background. It's all the same value of his hair. The reason why I did mine 3 times the size is because some of these shapes are really small, like this little highlight in his eye. That's so small. That's already kind of small on this paper. So if I drew the picture 3 times as big, it'll make that shape bigger. Okay, and it'll make it easier to collage. Okay, and you could go in like me, and I didn't finish mine, but you could go in and label all these shapes, what value they are if you really want to, or you could just reference your photo as you're going. So like, maybe you want to do this part of his head, you're going to look up here and figure out what value that is first. Okay, so first thing you do, just to recap, after you have your picture posterized, you're going to go in with a marker or a dark pencil and you're going to just outline all the different values. There should be at least 4. Okay. After you do that, you're going to draw a grid, and I'm not going to do it just to save time. You're going to draw a grid on your picture. After you have drawn a grid, you're going to draw a grid on your poster or your project paper and start copying all the different shapes that are inside of your picture. Okay, and that's how you get a picture or your paper prepared for this posterized collage. Good luck!